Hello people, yes, it's the day after Rollout Roll Call and I'm bringing you my Rollout Roll Haul. Thanks to Bisto Yeti for giving me the idea for that. Yes, yeah, I'm going to bring you the haul of the stuff that I picked up at Rollout Roll Call over the weekend, which I attended this year. And I'm probably going to do another video where I'm going to just go into my general feelings about how the event went for me, but this video is purely about the haul, about the stuff that I bought. Now, as I'm basically going to show you everything I picked up, and I've got quite a lot of stuff to show you, you know I do this end of month bot haul thing. I kind of, as I did with auto assembly, I don't like showing you the stuff up front before I've shown you at the end of the month. Anyway, I'm going to show you the stuff now while I got it fresh in my head, and I'm going to chat about the stuff that I bought, just to give you the background of why I bought it and stuff. And at the end of the month, I won't really go into details about my Rollout Roll Call haul, but I will do the photo gallery to the music at the end like I do, but I won't do that for this one. I'm just going to show you the stuff now. So, went down on the Saturday morning, took me about 2 hours to get down there. I got down there just after 9 o'clock, got in, and obviously I was hanging around in the lobby for a bit because the event didn't actually kick off till 10 o'clock. Bumped into Bisto Yeti. Well, he was actually stood outside, puffing away on his vapor cig along with a couple of other people, and yeah, so as time went on, we made our way up to the lobby and was waiting for the 10 o'clock to roll round, and there's a few people turning up. 10 o'clock, went in, picked up a pass, and on the back it's got all the events that you could go to and a map of all the rooms showing you where everything was. It came with one of these things which you clip to the back, and the idea behind it is it's hard plastic, and it goes behind your pass and stops it getting bent and damaged, but no, I couldn't really see the point of it. All I know is that I kept going around all weekend making silly squeaky noises with it. But yeah, so on to the toys. Now, I'd already seen the exclusive figures that were going to be appearing at Rollout Roll Call, some Transformers Collectors Club stuff and some stuff from BotCon exclusives. So I had it in mind, a number of figures I wanted to go for, and the first thing I wanted to go for was this chap. Yeah, the TFCC Chromedome. Now, it's obviously a repaint of the Prime Wheeljack mould, and it's a glorious repaint. It's got the usual weapon storage. He comes with this sort of Target Master thing, which I assume is supposed to be Stylor, his headmaster, even though this figure isn't actually a headmaster. I have had a quick go with it, transforming it, and it's very nice. Some of the paint apps are a bit smudgy on it in a few places, but I knew I wanted this because it just looks amazing, and after recently reading More Than Meets the Eye, Chromedome, is a major character, in the Lost Light crew, and you just got to love him and Rewind and all the adventures they get up to. So I was in the market for getting a Chromedome that isn't a G1 headmaster, and this fitted the bill. But when obviously all the cool stuff was doing the the exclusive figures, and I went over and I says, how much are the Chromedomes? And he said 65 quid, and I thought, oh, 65 quid for a deluxe. I winced, but then he said, oh, we've only got a few left, and I thought, all right, I'll do it. So this then represents the most expensive thing I bought all weekend. First, straight off the bat, collectible exclusive figure, 65 quid. Got him. So that was the start. And on the Saturday, because I've started with a pretty expensive figure, I was kind of watching what I spent because I wanted to make the money that I bought stretch out throughout the whole weekend. So I was kind of working my way round and all the cool stuff had another wall full of Combiner Wars and you know, Generation stuff. And I also got me Combiner Wars Mirage. Now the reason I've gone for this guy is quite specific. I'm not going to be doing Optimus Maximus. I just want a version of this because obviously I've got this guy. Now I've also got, I can get him out without knocking anything over. I've also got this guy. I've got Classics Drag Strip and I've got Classics Mirage. And the idea behind it, I wanted, whereas I've got Combiner Wars and Classics Drag Strip, I've also got Combiner Wars Mirage and Classics Mirage, who's up in the loft somewhere. So yeah, that was the rationale behind me getting this guy, was so that I'd have two different molds, two different repaints of basically the same, you know, the same figures. Now I don't usually go in for repaints, but this particular time I decided to sort of break the mold. Anyway, he cost me 18 quid. Right, so then I had a wander around in one of the other rooms, and there was an independent seller by the name of Jim Ockenden. He called himself a 80s kid, and he had a stand next to the space bridge with a selection of stuff from his own collection that he was selling. And I saw another figure there. Generations Trailcutter, obviously from the Thrilling 30s line. Again, been reading Matumti. I've got Spotlight Trailcutter, which I think is an absolute amazing comic. It's brilliant, so I wanted a Trailcutter. I saw lots of people selling him loose, but this guy was selling a mint in box one with the comic for 15 quid, which seemed to be the going rate for the figure at the event. So yeah, picked him up. Then I went around into the room where you've got bric-a-bracs and Me and Max Love Toys. Now I was kind of hoping to see my mate Mr. James Lau, who's one of the guys behind Me and Max Love Toys, but unfortunately for whatever reason he couldn't make it on the Saturday. So it was his colleague who was manning the stand. And I was having a browse at the wares they had on the stands, and something took my fancy. Generations Darkmount, aka Lord Straxus. Now, obviously being a fan of the G1 Marvel comics, you'll probably know a bit about Straxus, or no, High Lord Straxus of well, whatever city he was from. I haven't really read it, but this is a Generations version of him. It turns into this sort of big half-track artillery piece. It's got a load of 3mm clip-on weapon thingy-me-doos. And I had a quick go with this last night, and he's rather splendid. I like the transformation on it. He's kind of got a third mode, kind of like an artillery gun mount mode, kind of like a crab tank thing, which is neither here nor there. Quite like the transformation on it. Good bot. Very pleased to get him, and he was 15 quid. And there was quite a few people selling this as well elsewhere for more money than what I paid for this guy. Then I went into one of the next rooms, Joker's Toy Box. Now these guys were also at Auto Assembly, so there's a few other traders here this time than there was last year. There's a few traders that you know, were at Auto Assembly have now turned up at Rollout Roll Call. Joker's Toy Box is one of them. There was in the room that Indie Man Toys was in last year, and I was looking around, and they were selling a mixture of stuff. They were selling Star Wars, they were selling G.I Joe, they were selling Transformers, and a load of other toys from all sorts of toy lines. And there was one Marvel Infinity series figure that I saw there that I wanted to get hold of. It's another Death's Head, and I can prove I've got two because I've got the other one here. This is the one I got at Auto Assembly and got signed by Simon Furman. But I wanted to get another one because this one's going to stay sealed. But this one I'm going to break it open, and I'm going to give him a G1 repaint into the green and red colours that he was in when he appeared in the Marvel Transformers comics. So that was the reason why I wanted to get this. And if I saw one at the right price, I'd picked him up. And fortunately I did. So I got me two Death's Heads. speaking of in-demand toys, that was where I headed next. Yeah, went to in-demand toys. I hadn't noticed their stall when the event opened at 10 o'clock, mainly because the room was still closed and they were still setting up. But they opened up a little while later, and they had a very, very good display. They had big boxes full of loose stuff and quite a good selection of brand new stuff. And I was looking over their stalls and I saw something that I wanted to pick up at Auto Assembly, but missed the chance. Combiner Wars Blackjack. Now, they were knocking these out at 15 quid. They had a couple there. I don't know whether they sold them all, but it's a lot of money to pay for a Legends figure. And one of the other YouTubers who I met there, Stuart Nicholson, said as much when I spoke to him. He says he wouldn't have paid 15 quid for this guy, and I can understand his reasoning behind it, because I mean it's a lot of money for a little figure. But this guy is, he commands a high price on eBay because the scalpers have been snapping him up everywhere they can find and selling him at a premium. And I thought, well, if I had to buy this online, I'd be paying a damn sight more than 15 quid for it. And you don't see it in the shops over here. And even if you had to get one from the likes of Big Bad Toy Store or TF Source or Kapow, when you put the shipping on top, you'd be paying next to this price anyway. So I thought, I can do that. I can do Blackjack for 15 quid. Haven't got a Menasor to go with him yet though, sadly. Not yet. Just wait for Kapow to pull their finger out their arse and get UTO2 Menasor, the Unite Warriors Menasor in stock, because I've got it on pre-order. And yet, In Demand Toys had it on the shelf there for about, was it £99? Come on, Kapow. Sort it out, will ya? Anyway, yeah, we're still In Demand Toys, and the last thing I bought of the day was this gal. Generations Chromia. Again, this is another character that I've all of a sudden had a liking for because of her appearance in the comics. That the Windblade, Transformers Windblade series, she's in that, and she's basically Windblade's bodyguard, and she's a complete and utter badass. Is Chromia. She's amazing. So I just had to get a version of Chromia, and they were the only stall that had her on the shelf. So yeah, pick one of those up. So that was my haul for the Saturday, and like I said, because I'd spent so much on Chromedome, 65 quid, I was being careful on what I spent, and I got virtually all my box stuff today, but on the Sunday I would move on to some loose stuff. Obviously went to the pub in the evening, blah blah blah, did all this, did all that. I'll go into that in my second video. Again, this is all about the haul. So we're on to the Sunday the 4th of October. Again, went down for breakfast, blah blah blah, took some bags back to the car, went back up, wait for 10 o'clock to roll on, and then I had seen something at the end of the Saturday on the Toy Foo stall that quite caught my fancy, and I thought, right, first thing Sunday morning, I'm going to make a purchase. And so I did. United Wheeljack. Now, they had him on the stall. He was 15 quid, but he's complete with all his accessories. And the reason I bought this is because the evening before, Dave Shotton had sold his Generations tracks to Bisto Yeti, and his main reason he'd sold it is because he said he didn't know how to transform the arms in the back of the vehicle mode. He couldn't figure out how to do it, so that was why he got rid of it. And I like a transformer with a challenge, and this guy can be a bit fiddly, especially squeezing his arms into the back of his vehicle mode. But this guy was in robot mode, and I transformed him last night, so I obviously figured it out. There is a bit of an alignment issue with the arms, and especially if you peg the weapon in as well. It can be a bit tight in there, and everything sort of slots into the tabs all slot in, go into little slots and stuff, but eventually clips together and it forms this nice sporty car. Now this is the United one, and it's got like metallic paint on it. The green stripes, they're metallic. I don't know if you can see that. Very swish, very nice. Yep, 15 quid. Well happy with him. And another figure I wanted to pick up from Toy Foo. Little Legends Hound. Yeah, home for the Decepticons Legends Tracker Hound. Saw him on the front. They had a bunch of little Legends figures, and this is really neat. I like this. This is really, really cool. So he was only 2 quid, so I picked him up. And then I went and had a look around the boxes on the side and saw another figure that I kind of liked. Got a thing for Cybertron figures, and they had Cybertron Clocker. Missing his Cyber Planet key, but then again, most of Cybertron toys you pick up loose are missing their Cyber Planet keys. But apart from that, he's got everything else. Neat little car mode. He's one of the Cybertron Basics. And they did some really good figures in the Cybertron Basic line. So he was only 4 quid. I was well happy with him. Then I went round to what I can only describe as Sid's third-party stall. One of the third-party guys, his name's Sid, had a stall, and he had some stuff out. Also on the Sunday, Ben from Ben's Collectibles bought some of his stuff, because obviously he's got to sell some of his stuff from his collection before he emigrates to Canada. So he bought some stuff to try and shift it on the Sunday. But anyway, on Sid's stall, I was having a look. They had this prototype of the Mech Ideas Apex and Geminus. This prototype set, but they were 100 quid, so no, I'll give them a miss. Anyway, looking on the store, I saw something else, and I thought, well, I've got Chromedome, but I need a rewind to go with him. Yep, Perfect Effects PE06 Rewinder. It's, you know, a lovely mini third-party rewind. Doesn't transform into a cassette or a data slug. It's kind of like a Target Master thing. It transforms into a gun, which is a bit unfortunate. But still, when you scale him up to Chromedome, he'd be about the right size. So, yeah, I could go with that. And it's another third-party figure from another third-party company. So that's some Perfect Effects. And he was 15 quid. So I was quite pleased with that. And then, right, all the cool stuff. Back to the convention exclusive figures. They got a number of things on this sort of stack shelf thing that they'd got on the stall on the end, where all the collectible exclusives were. And there was a figure that had been on there since the Saturday, and it had been stood there winking at me. When I first clapped eyes on it on the Saturday, I thought, that's really, really nice. But I didn't dare ask how much it was after being hit with the £65 price of Chromedome. So I assumed that this guy will be a similar sort of price. But then on the late Sunday morning, I thought, I know, I'm just going to pop the question, how much is that toy? And the guy on the stall said he went on, because they got the laptop there with all the lists on. He looked down, he says, I can't see a price on it, you'll have to speak to Dave Tree. So I went away, and then a few minutes later I came back towards the room, and there's Dave Tree. So I collared him in the corridor, and I said, all right, Dave, that little blue figure you've got on your stand, how much is it? And he says, oh, it's actually got a little bit of damage on it, so it's only 35 quid. And when I heard 35 quid, I thought, yeah, I'm having that, bastard. Transformers Collectors Club Sideburn. Oh yes. Now this really does it for me. He has, as you can see, got a little bit of damage there. One of the tips off the end of the spoiler's broken off. So it was only 35 quid. Had it been intact, it probably would have been more like 55 or 60 quid for this fella. Wow. I just love the colours on this. And I've never had the Classics hot rod mould before, and it's a really, really good mould. Nice transformation. Build quality on it is, dare I say it, Cybertron build quality. It's really, really good. I love it. It's amazing. I picked up the original Sideburn at Auto Assembly, and he's actually one of 2 figures that I still haven't transformed yet from Auto Assembly. I've still got 2 figures I haven't transformed yet. What am I like? But I have had a go with this guy, and he's really, really good. He's amazing, and so glad I got him. He's just incredible. Lovely. Speaking of blue cars, blue sporty cars, went back to Toy Foo, and again having a quick scan over their table, and then I noticed something that I hadn't seen before. Cybertron Hotshot. Yeah, Cybertron Hotshot, or Excellion, if you like, Brad. No, Excellion XLR, because he likes watching Galaxy Force, the Japanese version. But anyway, I saw this guy, and I thought, I picked him up, had a quick go with him. Yeah, it's a nice solid Cybertron transformer. Simple transformation, but satisfying. Very, very satisfying to transform. I mean, so there we go. There you go. Oh yeah. See, they're great and really solid. You know, got a few sort of loose joints, but it's when I found out the price of this guy. £3. He's missing his Cyber Planet key, and I think he's supposed to have a gun of some kind, but that doesn't matter. It's Cybertron Hotshot, you know, for £3. You can't go wrong at that. Yeah, so I picked him up. He's just brilliant. He's amazing. Yeah. So, obviously throughout the weekend I did a number of panels in between bouts of going around the stalls and buying stuff. But again, I'll speak about that in the other video. Then, in-demand toys. Yeah, I'd seen a few G1 loose figures in the tubs in demand that sort of quite fancied them. They had a boxed Iron Fist, you know, G1 Iron Fist, the Lightformer, boxed with the weapon. But it had this old price tag on it where it must have been like a £5.99 or something, but the 5 had come off. It just said 0.99 pence or whatever it was. And there was no other price on it. I didn't dare ask how much it was, considering it had the box. But I can remember seeing a loose one in the in their other boxes. So yeah, I picked up Iron Fist. Obviously, I've read Last Stand of the Wreckers, so this guy's in there. Maybe not this version of the mould, but yeah, this guy's in there, and he's a great little figure, G1 figure. He's loose. He's got tatty decals, blah blah blah. He's missing his big backpacky weapon thing. But I'm not bothered. But he's got absolutely incredible light piping. Pink light piping. And he's got this sort of this flesh colour, and oh, he's really nice. Really nice. He was £25. And another figure that I've seen knocking around in a few places, because I like buggies, because of my RC car collection. It's all full of off-road buggies, and I've got a thing for off-road buggies. And there's a few Transformer, sort of buggy formers which take my fancy. I got Power Master's Joyride. Picked him up because he's a great looking buggy, really really cool. Again, tatty decals. It's a plastic brick, but I just bought it for the alt mode. There's nothing more to it than that. Has got a slight problem with one of the back wheels. The pin came out, so they put a self-tapping screw in it, and as you can see, if you turn it in one direction, the wheel comes off. So I'm going to have a look at that. It's not very good, but I can fix that. Yeah, he was £25 as well, so I got the pair of them for £25 each from In Demand. Now, on the Sunday, in the morning, I had a wander around the room where all the guest artists were, and I had a chat with a guy called Chris Carter, and he has done, you know, artwork for Transformers and stuff, but he also works on his own comic called Scannon. And I saw him at Auto Assembly, and I saw the comics there, and I sort of had a quick peek at them, and they look kind of interesting. So I went and had a bit of a chat with him on the Sunday morning. Or was it the Sunday or was it the Saturday? It was one of the days anyway. I had a chat with him, and then I said, you know, at the end of the day, I might, if I've got some spare cash, I might come back and buy some comics off you. So it was kind of midday-ish. I've been in a few panels, bought a bunch of stuff, and I thought, obviously I've got some cash left in my pocket. Shall I buy these comics? So I went over to the stall, and I bought a set of comics. So I got all, what is it? All 7 of the current issues of Scannon. Issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, 6, and 7. I've only read issue 1 up to now, but it's quite funny, and the art style is a bit. It's all right. I can cope with the art style. They're in black and white, these comics, but yeah, it works. I like it, and I'm glad I went for it. So I'll pick them up as well. And they were like £18 for the 7, which is okay, I suppose. Well, I was happy to pay it anyway. Right. So moving along. Yes. Then after that, I went back to Me and Max Love Toys, and I was kind of hoping that James Lau would have turned up on the Sunday, but he didn't make an appearance at all. So missed you, James, missed you, because he's one of my subscribers. Yeah, I really wanted to have a good chat with you, but for whatever reason he couldn't make it, which was really sad. So opportunity missed, but at least I bought one of his old toys. There was a few loose figures on the side in bags, and his colleague, I didn't catch his name, said, now this figure I'd seen on sale on some of the other stalls. Toy Foo had one, and so did All the Cool Stuff. But by far the cheapest price I saw for this guy was at Me and Max Love Toys. And it's revealed the Shield Strafe. Now obviously he turns into a stealth bomber, and he's quite a big for a Voyager. Interesting bot, very sort of colourful. And he was £7.50. So quite, he was alright. No, £7.50 for a huge Voyager figure. That's pretty good going. He's really smart. I like him. And then obviously I was getting down to my last dregs. I did have this. There was some more convention exclusive figures that I wanted to get. I wanted to get Sergeant Hound and Lift Ticket, but unfortunately they came bundled with the other figures, which I didn't want. You know, like General Optimus Prime and Burnout. And I got wind on the. I think it was the Saturday night at the pub that Luffy was interested in getting Burnout. So I thought, well, if I see him, I'll have a word with him, because I want Lift Ticket, and we could go halves on a set, and then, you know, £30 each, because it was £60 for the set. We could go half, put £30 in each. I get Lift Ticket, he gets Burnout. We've both got the figure we want. We're happy. But when I finally caught up with Luffy in I think it was the early afternoon, and I asked him about it, he'd been looking at the figure in the glass case by the reception, and he'd gone cold on the idea, and decided he didn't want one after all, which was a bit of a shame, because I really would have liked to have bought a Lift Ticket, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. So I had to find other things to spend my money on. So yeah, went wandering around some more. Went back to In Demand Toys. Now there was a figure I'd seen in the loose figure box In Demand, and it was Generations Warpath. They had one in the box, and it was 18 quid. And I'd been passing it over because I thought it was a bit much to pay for a figure of that size, for like a deluxe size figure. Anyway, I thought I'd squirreled it away in the corner of the tub, and then Later on when I came back and I was sort of, you know, getting down to my last 25 quid, and I thought, I know, I'm going to go for that Warpath. So I went there, I was rummaging around. Could I find him? Could I Eckers like? He'd gone. Somebody had bought it, and I felt gutted. I've missed out on, you know, a really cool figure. So it's my fault, you know. I've done this before. I've seen things, and you know they haven't worked out. Anyway, so I had to look for other things, and there was another guy I saw in the box next door where all the animated stuff was, and I kind of like the look of him. And it was an animated Swoop. Now, this guy's alright. He's pretty cool. Very simple. Not much to him. Obviously, the animated aesthetic, it's a thing unto itself, really. It's really cool. Some people like it, some don't. I don't mind it. I think it's alright. And this guy, yeah, he works. I like him. He's alright. He was 10 quid. And then this next figure, there was two versions. There was the black one and this one of this figure. Now, I've probably said in a previous video that I want to collect the scavengers from IDW. Unfortunately, Fulcrum doesn't have a decent toy. Now, I looked up online at pictures of him, and there was a bio card that showed him in like a plain form with, you know, sort of grey camo on him. So I bought this thing, which is movie Dreadwing. Now, the plane's alright, but the robot, oh my god. I mean, the proportions on it, it's got these humongous arms, which are very awful articulation on them. It's got this stupid lens head thing. You know, like Whirl, got like a single eye. And he's got these really stumpy legs. Really short legs. He's... Talk about buyer's regret. It was only 7 quid, but I wish I hadn't have bought this thing. Bought it off, was it In Demand Toys? I think I might be making some donations to Toy Foo. This and another figure I picked up recently at the NEC Toy Fair. Really doesn't do this for me. I bought it as a substitute Fulcrum, but it doesn't really work. So, I don't know. Nah. Wish I hadn't bought that guy. What did I do next? Ah, yes. Went back into the guest room. Saw Ed Pierrie had his table, and he had a couple of comics on there that he'd done, and I picked one of them up and says, yeah, I'd go for that. Transformers Rattrap by Ed Pierrie and Liam Shaloo and Mr. Turnbull. But as the artists were there, I got them to sign it. So I got Ed Pierrie to put, "We're all gonna die," you know, Rattrap's favourite line. And as Liam Shaloo was there, I got him to put a line in, and he's put a Megatron's "Yes" on there, which is quite cool. So yeah, I read this today. Awesome. The reason I bought this is because of that. It's got Scrounge in it! And I remember Scrounge from the G1 comic, and he only appeared in like one issue of the G... Was it 1 or 2 issues of the G1 comic? But it was a great little figure, and he had a really grisly death. And it's good to see that, you know, this character is getting some page time again. And it's really cool, and he plays a part in this comic, which is really great, and that was the main reason why I bought it. But it's really cool and awesome, and the humour, Rattrap's character from the show definitely comes through in this. Forget about his involvement in IDW, I mean, this is where it's at. Yeah, getting down to my last couple of things. Went back to Joker's toy box in the afternoon. Rummaging around in their box of loose figures, and yeah, G1 Tailgate. Wanted to get me a Tailgate. I wanted to get the Generations one, but nobody had one, so this will have to do for now. He's alright, he's neat. He was 5 quid. He's in reasonably good condition. Bit of chrome wear, bit of decal wear. His joints aren't too bad, aren't too loose, so he was all right. And in there was this guy, Revenge of the Fallen Ejector. Now, it transforms into a toaster. And when it transforms into a kind of like a gremlin or goblin-like thing. And it's got like the power cord as a tail. He's all right. He's different. He's unusual. He's odd. And I like doing things that are odd and unusual and different. And this guy definitely fits the bill. So I got him. He was £7 quid. Kind of reminds me of that Select Toys Bandit. Very, very similar. And like down to my last dregs of my money. So I went to Toy Foo and I thought I'd seen some things on the Toy Foo stall earlier in the day, and I thought, well, I might come back and pick some of them up because they were really, really cheap. But while I was there, I saw another figure that I'd sort of spied earlier in the day, but when I saw him again, I picked him up, and that guy looks really awesome. Beast Wars Transmetal Pterosaur. Just look at the chrome on this guy. It's kind of like got a green tint. It's glorious. Now, you saw my recent review on Toy World TWT05 Spear. This is how you do a pterosaur. I'm sorry, look. No big box underneath. I mean, yeah, he's got his legs are sort of stowed underneath, but that's doable. I mean, it's got these lovely wings. No baggage, no big block hanging underneath. Really, really cool. Awesome bot mode. Really, really excellent. And he was £5. I was cock a hoop with this guy. These wing bits were on back to front, so I couldn't figure out how to transform the wings properly, so I had to have a look at some pictures, and I figured out, oh, that's how they go. So yeah, decent wingspan. And this is way better than Age of Extinction Strafe as well. This knocks that thing for 6. He's really, really cool. I like him. And then obviously, still at the Toy Foo, there was a box full of bots. I've got the box here. It was on top. And I had a quick go on some of these earlier in the day, and I thought, these are quite funky. And I was having a go and saying, which one shall I get? And I thought, sod it, I'll buy the whole box. So I did. Now these Real Gear things, not seen them before. Well, I think I have seen them, but I'd seen a few other ones knocking around the event. But they transform into, sort of bits of tech, like Long View here, who turns into binoculars. You've got Power Up, VT6 turns into like a Game Boy type gamepad. Spy Shot 6 turns into a digital camera. Zoom Out 25X, who turns into like a little camcorder thing. And Speed Dial, who turns into an old flip phone. These were £1 each, and they're so neat. They're really, really awesome little things. I mean, the transformations are quite involved on some of them, but not overly complicated. And they form these neat little robots that are decently articulated and really odd and unusual. I mean, he's got a little clicker for his thing. They're really, really, really cool. And I'm really tempted to do a review of all 5 of these in a oneer, because they're really awesome, and I'm so glad I got them. I might even get some more of these. They're really, really cool. And yeah, they were the last bits that I picked up. So that was a total of 25 bots over the 2 days, and £346.50 spent. So it's been a pretty huge haul. Yeah, I'm getting to the point now whereby I'm sort of running out of things that I really want to collect. I was struggling at times walking around Rollout to find things worth buying that I really wanted, and I think I'm going to have to slow down a bit now. How many am I up to now? I'm over 350 bots in my collection, and I think, you know, for the rest of the year, I think I'm going to take it easy. There's another NEC Toy Fair in December. The one thing I do want to do over the next couple of weeks is buy some more car bots. I had a chat with Ben's Collectibles about car bots, and me and him, you know, sort of review them, and nobody else. So yeah, I'm really hoping to buy into some more car bots. But yeah, that was my haul for Rollout Roll Call. I'm thinking of doing, like I said, I should be doing another video tomorrow or in the next day or couple of days, where I will go over my the event in general and how it was for me. But that's my haul. I hope you found it interesting, the things I've picked up. I will see you next time. Ta-da.